welcome to Five Guys Movies and Fries. My name is Joe. Today I'm joined by Nacula.
Hello.
And we also got Dan. And Jeff.
Hello.
And Will.
What's mine?
And this episode is not brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb, but just so we have a little backstory on who they are, they're a pharmaceutical company that brought you Bufferin, Excedrin, Buspar, and also Sleuth from 1972. And that's the movie we're talking about today, Sleuth.
Not Excedrin?
No, unless you want to. We could get into that. But
guys, I think I watched the wrong movie.
Yeah, so this pharmaceutical company bought the rights to a bunch of movies made by Palomar Pictures, including The Heartbreak Kid, which was made by Elaine May, who, as we know, wrote The Birdcage. And the rights have sort of been in limbo ever since, and I'll talk about that later more. I got some pretty interesting information on that. You guys cannot wait to hear how deep the rabbit hole goes. I think I'm going to blow your minds. But let's talk about Sleuth. So this is a mystery thriller film, and it kind of has the air of a murder mystery movie, but it's not technically like a murder mystery, like an Agatha Christie story, but it is sort of in that vein. It feels like it. And it's based on a play by Anthony Shaffer. The director, Joseph L. Mankiewicz. If that last name sounds familiar, Mankiewicz?
Yeah.
It's because his brother is Mank. Herman Mank, the guy who they made Mank about. The David Fincher movie. About
the Mank.
The one and only Mank. He co-wrote Citizen Caine with Orson Welles, and David Fincher thought that was interesting enough to make a movie about. And Joseph L. Mankiewicz is in that movie. Not actually him, but someone playing him.
Interesting.
He's just a Hollywood legend who made movies like Cleopatra, Guys and Dolls, like just shit that isn't that amazing to watch nowadays. But Sleuth is pretty amazing, and it was his last movie. He made it right before he died. Stars Sir Lawrence Olivier, who is another legendary screen actor from the golden age of Hollywood, and Michael Caine, who was pretty young at the time. I think he was like 39.
He looks young as hell.
Yeah.
And yet still the same.
That's true. And it also stars, of course, Alec Cawthorne, John Matthews, Eve Channing, and Teddy Martin. But as we all know, that's not real. That's just in the opening credits. They sort of give us a fake out to make us think that the cast is larger than it is.
There's a full cast in this movie.
So good.
As we know, there's only two actors in the entire movie. Sir Lawrence Olivier plays Andrew Wyke, and Michael Caine as Milo Tyndall. It's one of the only movies where the entire cast was nominated for Academy Awards. Both Michael Caine and Sir Lawrence Olivier were nominated for Best Leading Actor. The other one, do you guys know what the other one is?
No.
Everyone in the movie nominated. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? All four for Best Actor, Best Actress, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actor.
Nice.
One of my favorite little anecdotes is that Michael Caine was really nervous about making this movie, so he quit drinking for the whole thing. When he meets Sir Lawrence Olivier, he says, "How should I address you?" And Sir Lawrence Olivier says, "You should call me Sir Lawrence Olivier." And then he calls him, "Okay, Sir Lawrence Olivier." And then he says, "Now that that's over with, you can call me Larry." So it seems like they had a really great time making this. It's a lot of fun. Basic plot, Andrew Wyke, he invites Mr. Milo Tyndall to his English manor to confront him about the affair that Tyndall is having with Marguerite, his wife. So he convinces Milo to stage this robbery, and he executes him. But we learn about 2/3 of the way through that it was a mock execution. And Milo gets his revenge, and it's told in 3 acts. It's about 2 hours, 20 minutes. I don't know. Do you guys think that that's too long?
Told in 16 short acts.
It's long, but I think like it filled it up dececently.
I think it deserves that 2 hour, 20-minute runtime.
Yeah.
3 acts.
You know me. I always think it's too long. If anything could go, that isn't absolutely crucial. However, if like dry wit and that type of thing is your bread and butter, it's not going to feel as, you know what I mean? It won't feel like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think I did have that same thought the first time I saw it. I thought it was too long, but I've watched it many times since, and
And there's a
now I'm
lot to take in.
used to it. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, a lot of detail.
I definitely agree. I think it's a little long near the end, but I mean, it's just so good, and that dialogue's so good that it kind of makes up for it. I will say though, about half my notes start with "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
I think that says a lot about this movie.
Yeah, I'd recommend going back if you have questions, or we can talk about it now.
Oh, it was
But-
more just like, wait, is he dead? Oh wait, no, he's not. Wait, wait, is he? Like shit like that, you know? Like another twist? And I definitely
The-
plan on watching this movie again in the future at some point. It's very good.
I'll let you borrow one of my DVDs, one of my many DVDs that I own about
Hell
this.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
several Sleuth DVDs.
Yeah.
The only ones in existence.
You didn't like watching it in 240p on YouTube? Oh my god.
It is, yeah, it's available. It's in the
Yeah.
same quality on DVD. Like,
Rough.
Is it
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Because that was hot garbage. I got like 2 seconds into it when they on the close up of Michael Caine when he pulled up in the convertible, and it was like, oh, okay, I need to be able to see his face. Like,
Well,
it was rough.
I actually have mixed feelings on whether or not they should upgrade this movie, because I feel like that could potentially compromise the twist. Because if it was filmed in that quality, maybe it should stay in that quality. Because if it's in too high of a quality, you might be able to see the bald cap on Michael Caine. That's what I'm worried about.
I thought it was a little hard to tell. I didn't figure out it was like possibly him for a good minute or so, and then I was like, wait.
Were
a
you watching
minute.
the 240p or the
No.
1080 copy?
I had that good copy link, and I don't know about
Okay.
what you guys thought about the quality on that one, but I thought it looked pretty good. Like I thought
The
it was
quality
pretty,
was stellar on the
yeah, it
copy
was
I have. Yeah,
really
like what
good.
was in the box was amazing, but
But I didn't. Yeah, I couldn't tell right away. I was like, that can't be Michael Caine. They wouldn't do like an obvious twist like that. And then like a minute or two, and I'm like, wait a minute, that is fucking Michael Caine. What the?
it wasn't instant for me. It wasn't like he didn't open the door and I wasn't like, "Yup, Michael." It was more like when they started to have a conversation. The entire movie, like for the second half, felt like the box art for Clue, the board game. Like what the lore behind Clue would have been if there wasn't a Clue movie. Like very deep. Like, oh, it's not the candlestick, it's the puppet. Like I don't know. There was a very play feel about it, like stage play.
That's the vibe. Yeah.
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 Which is, again, if that's like, I could see like people loving that and this being like their favorite movie because they nailed that. It could not have felt more like a two-man act.
Yeah, it's the peak. It's peak murder mystery vibes, in my opinion, and I love it.
I think so too. Yeah, they did a really good job never breaking that vibe.
If you love it, you love it, and if you don't, you obviously won't. But if you guys
Yeah.
didn't know that they remade this movie with
Really?
Michael Caine as Andrew Wyke
Ha.
What?
Ha.
and Jude Law as Milo Tyndall,
Get
And
the
it's-
fuck out of here.
directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
shit.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know why you guys are enthusiastic.
That's-
I hate Kenneth Branagh.
I mean,
He's a
pretty
decent
neutral.
actor, but his directing is so bad. All the Poirot movies he made
I
are
could
just
not agree more in the sense that I'm not like a fan per se, but I do want
Okay.
to see this remake of.
It's not like they like set it it's in 2007, and he lives in a mansion with the state of the art technology, but it was just like right before smartphones, so there's no smartphones. So
Interesting.
it's just bad.
That's
it's
a
not
fucking time capsule.
Yeah, you could say that.
Because there's so much that wouldn't work in this film if it wasn't for the period.
Yeah, it just
Like-
makes more sense in an English manner.
Yeah, and the fact that like he was real gruff about being a hairdresser.
He was playing an actor, and then they did imply that he was secretly a hairdresser or something like that. It's real weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see if like
You might
Michael
like it
Caine
more.
than this one. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I thought this one looked so brilliant. Like not just the aesthetic in the one location. Like I do like that a lot, but the actual like quality of light and composition, like everything about the way this was shot looks so good.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it just every frame I was like, wow, that looks just great. I have to assume this was maybe like an old like a B16 Panavision like I'm trying
I
to
don't
figure out
know.
what this would have been shot on, but it looked just fucking marvelous. Especially the cool stuff they did when they were moving around the outside of the house. Uh, in terms of like, there was a bunch of spots in the film where they would swing that crane like from the front door. He would like come out the front door, and then they'd swing that crane like all the way around the house without cutting, and you'd go to like the window, like see what was going on inside the mansion through the window.
I did
Uh,
like those scenes. Yeah, those good.
I thought that was well done. I bet that was a pain in the ass because you don't have a monitor. You're just swinging that fucking thing, you know? Like there was probably somebody riding on the crane, maybe, but uh, yeah, that was impressive that they got those because you're just like trusting the measurements and shit of like what's in focus and
Practically flying blind, yeah.
yeah, I mean you just have to know what you're doing. We have it a lot easier now, like if you put something like that up, not only do you have like stabilization, in the sense of like a gimbal or something on there, like a Ronin head or something, but we also have like a follow focus that's attached to a monitor with virtually no latency or none because it's coming right through a cable. And you can see exactly where the camera's going, and you're shooting a lot wider than the actual frame is going to be in the final. So you can like cut the frame to what you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent.
I don't really know what you're saying, but I trust that it's all accurate.
If the shot was supposed to show like whatever's happening and the frame was supposed to be just the edges of the window, you're probably shooting like 5 or 6 feet past the windows and 10 feet wider on each side of the frame. And then in post, you're going to crop to exactly what you want that frame to be. In case, there's some wiggle or something and you need to stabilize it. Anyway, we
Yeah.
just have a lot of modern tools that they didn't have, and they were able to pull a lot of that stuff off really well. It was impressive.
I mean, they made it look great, especially in the kind of darker scenes, like when they're kind of chilling in like the chairs or like down in the dungeon area. Dude, and it still looked
It's all
great.
dark, but we see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's hard to do.
especially
with
back then, I have to
film.
assume. Yeah,
Oh God, yeah, it looked fucking great. The whole time I was impressed with like I said, the lighting and just the fact that we can see him in such clear detail, and there's stuff in the distance in the house that we can see clearly that is supposed to be dark and looks dark is wild,
yeah.
and that's hard to light. Like that's yeah, they did a great job.
That
Yeah.
the
Anyway,
composition of some of those shots, like when he was behind the bars, for instance, like, and it looked like he was in prison.
in the
Yeah,
cellar,
and like he was like holding on to them, like all
yeah,
like, man, that just looked.
shit was
It looked
wild.
so good, and like
That had to be handheld.
it. I mean,
They were
you
so
would
close
know.
in there, dude. There's no way they had tripod even, and you know what I mean?
No.
It had to be just someone standing right below him, operating the shit out of that camera like a boss.
I would love to watch like behind the scenes stuff, but unfortunately it
Oh
does
my
not
God.
exist.
Yeah, me too. Criterion needs to release a.
Well,
I
not
guess
gonna happen.
they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't fucking do
Film
that.
rights
Yeah.
purgatory.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on to initial thoughts. I'll start with mine. Love the story here. It's about two men who match each other's freak, as they say. They really just want to dress up and play games with each other, but unfortunately there's some sexual jealousy there that gets in their way and they take things personally.
It's hot.
The tagline of this movie I think is perfect. Think of the perfect crime and then go one step further. I think that sums it
That's
up.
really good tagline. Fuck
And then
yeah.
6 more
Yeah,
steps.
yeah.
I think you guys are kind of overestimating. Like there's 3 distinct acts to it.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, well, we're just
No,
fucking with you two.
I like the twist a lot.
Me
The
too.
twist, yeah.
It's good.
Last one, I promise. Which twist? Okay, that was last one. Last one.
I like when he pulls off all the makeup and stuff. That twist when he's
too.
yeah.
It was good. I thought it was all really well done. Like none of it I was like, this is unbelievable. You know, it all felt lived in. It felt like a real universe where this would be happening. Maybe a little acted up, you know, stage play wise. But I mean, it's Laurence Olivier and Michael Caine. Like,
Yeah,
you,
they're not doing like a raw
yeah.
docu
I
series.
don't.
Yeah,
You don't ever watch a movie with Michael Caine and be like, nah, that guy's hamming it up.
yeah,
He
no,
just is Michael Caine.
that's Dr. Michael Caine, by the way. But yes, go
Oh
on.
shit!
He should be knighted. Honestly, it should be
But
Sir
no,
Michael Caine as well.
he should be. That's fucking wild that
Or
he
just
isn't.
eveninged. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the harpsichord score, the Baroque. I think it's really fits the vibe.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
That shit was
I
wicked.
thought it was sick too. I really liked the intro theme to it. It had a lot of character to it and like whimsy, and that
Yeah.
kind of set the stage, I felt, for the movie really well.
I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, I didn't like the automata because they're creepy, but now I think they're great. And I love the dioramas in the beginning and at the end, how it transitions to a diorama at the end and then the curtain comes down.
That's
I
so
love
good.
those touches.
Yeah.
The set dressing, dude, just unbelievable. Like everything, it was just so jam packed with shit. It made
The
it feel like,
props. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
the props, yeah. It made it feel like some weird old.
I wonder how much of that was authentic in this. Not authentic, but like at the end credits, they were saying it was shot in that dude's house.
No, it was shot in that manner. The exterior shot is a different well, it's filmed at Pinewood Studios in England. But the exterior
Right.
shot is it's an actual manor in England, and it has a Wikipedia page, which you know you have a big house if your house has a Wikipedia page.
Fucking A, right?
Right.
And you also know your house is big if your house's Wikipedia page has a population listed.
That's true.
Holy shit, bro.
The house has a population of 30.
Damn, what a
That's
flex.
balling.
It's called like Amplethorne Manor or something like that.
I'm gonna have to make a wiki
Good
page for
God.
my house and just be like, pop 1.
Yeah.
1.5.
2 cats.
Apartment 3C, manor apartment.
Small. At least it felt kind of small to me. A lot.
Yeah, we kind of stick in the one room in the main room.
And just a couple smaller spots, yeah.
We see the bedroom and his safe room, but yeah.
But you're right, Jeff. We didn't get a lot of like largeness to it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's definitely not a negative. I think it really works for the movie. It's just even though it's in a clearly large manner, it feels very small in there.
It makes it feel more like a stage play too, which I think benefits this movie, as does, you know, a lot of older movies like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we go to Knack next. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, I love Michael Caine, period. He's just always a blast.
And he hates
As he should.
as he should.
I love some of the sound design choices that were made. Even though there's like just simple like increases in gain or whatever, but like when Milo is walking through the maze closer to where Wykes is, and it just kind of gains volume the closer he gets. And after Milo hangs up the phone when Wyke is I can't remember, he's trying to call the police or the girl. After Milo hangs up the phone, they just leave that dead dial tone going for like a full minute. I love it. I just adds just so much more tension to that shot.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's so much to love about it. The play setting that it has as the set production, all the shots of dolls just makes it even more creepy, where they're finishing off a sentence and it just cuts to the sailor figurine and another figurine just staring to the side and directly at you. It's
Reaction shot.
done really well. Yeah, I have difficulty with fucking like riddle movies and the stuff that I feel like I'm missing out on everything, especially since I watched this and I was just generally kind of tired. Overall, I loved watching it. As it was mentioned already, like the duration is acceptable to a point if you're trying to fill it in with British wit. And I love how
well, you're just a jumped up pantry boy who doesn't know his place.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That's it. I liked how both characters are just passionate about just playing a character. themselves, character within character. And it was wild to see how Milo agreed at first when Wyke tries to convince him to just put on this clear, like, thieves robber costume disguise, and he's like, why don't I just put a fucking neon sign? But he just wholly goes along with the clown get up, just without a without so much more than a nudge.
And there's a moment where he's like, I'll do the thing in drag, and then they have a moment where they're dancing together.
It's
Fucking
it's just throw his movie goes in so many directions on the turn of a dime, and it's just wonderful to watch. I do want to put this movie down at least a couple more times in the near future. I will pass the torch on to Dan.
Right on. So I have mentioned how much I adored the look of the film and how much these two actors really like went ham. They went all in on this. You kind of have to. You can't really phone it in with something like this. I'm sure the shooting was long and arduous, getting those lines exactly right, take after take after take. I think for me, the biggest issue I have with anything I'm trying to read, watch, listen to is whether or not I can personally get lost in it. And it is so difficult for me to watch, say, like a musical, right, that isn't The Sound of Music, because I can't get lost in it. Every time people start singing, I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Why are they singing? We're at a grocery store, right? So, and that's just personal taste, right? So I need that shrunken down a little bit, in the sense that this felt to me like a TV series. Like if this was like 4 episodes and people were tuning in every week and you kind of had to get back into the rhythm, absolutely. You know what I mean? It makes sense. You got to rebuild the world, but it was just, it felt a little drawn out to me.
Gotcha. I think this movie would suffer if you
yeah.
cut anything, personally.
Yeah, and see, that makes sense, because I don't think I was as invested in the story. So like something that may have felt like could go to me would have been a crucial plot element, to someone that was more dialed into the script.
And establishing
just
establishing the aesthetic, and there's
True.
comedic scenes.
Yeah, and maybe that's the issue I'm having, is that the blend maybe didn't feel right to me. Like there was maybe too much comedy or too little, or too much
Well,
seriousness.
you mentioned Clue before. Do you like Clue? Because that's sort of like the ultimate fun murder mystery movie that does both very well.
I want to watch that again as an adult. I watched the VHS tape of that I owned, as a kid, but I'd like to watch it, in its actual format and see it to really give an opinion. But yeah, I remember enjoying it. In fact, I think I'm a little biased with this movie because of my obsession with Death Trap.
Oh yeah,
And
we should
just
talk about Death Trap
like
too, because
how perfectly that, like, to me, every time I saw something in here that didn't work, I'm like, guys, like, just watch Death
well, the
Trap.
thing is,
They did it perfect.
I feel like Death Trap is the successor to Sleuth because it's got Michael Caine in it as well, as you know.
It does.
And it's so similar without spoiling Death Trap. It's very similar. It has that Agatha Christie style. It's about a
I would call
writer.
Death Trap a masterpiece.
Oh boy,
that I could watch once a year, and like this.
Sleuth.
Thank you. Sleuth, I would say, was an enjoyable watch. That it's not something I was like, I have to own this.
The way I rank them is they're both good, but Sleuth is the one to watch if you can only watch one. Sleuth is better.
Oh, I could not agree more. Okay, we have to now. We have an assignment.
Yeah.
Let's give to the fans. I need people in the comments to watch Death Trap and Sleuth and tell me that I'm wrong.
Or I don't know if we have fans, but you could have us do that too.
Yeah, we're the fans.
Oh, Death Trap is a masterpiece. Anyway,
we should do it for the pod. I've never seen it.
Death Trap is good, but I like Sleuth better. And if we ever do Death Trap, we'll talk about why.
Well, I feel like we kind of have to, because on the wiki page it straight up says, well, noting its plot similarities to Caine's 1972 film Sleuth. So it's like a spiritual successor almost.
Really?
That's what it says, yeah.
It's a spiritual successor to Sleuth.
Then we gotta watch it. We gotta watch it.
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
It's got Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve.
Directed by Sidney Lumet. Yeah, Christopher Reeve is great. But let's not get caught up on
Anyway,
Death Chat. Pass the torch to Jeff.
Jeff, what did you think about Sleuth?
It was pretty good. That's it.
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
there you have it, folks.
I love.
right to the point.
I think sometimes this movie can walk a fine line between kind of hitting things on the head when it doesn't need to. Like sometimes it's a little overt. I thought it was pretty easy to pick out that Caine was that cop, like pretty early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, that whole thing with like the hedge maze and shit, and like Caine taking the long way around. I'm glad that they have the cut of the hedge maze after that whole scene because you could see that he could have walked directly to the center, and instead took this whole ass path around the outside.
No, the center was enclosed, I think.
No,
Wasn't it?
no, it was
No?
not. I made sure I took a specific note of it that there was an
Okay.
opening right at the top. Like he could have cut a left and gone directly to the center, and instead he like went all the way around to the secret door in the back.
I'm glad I didn't notice that. Because that would have been the first thing I said. Like, take a fucking cue from the maze. Get to it, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely reading too much into it, but that's kind of like an allegory for how he takes like 2/3 of the movie to get to one big fucking heart. It's like this dude's back doors on back doors on back doors and shit. Like, get the fuck out of here.
They're trying to drive you insane.
Yeah, I genuinely loved it. I like any movie that just lets actors play off each other for long periods of time. Like any movie that's really been able to entertain me, especially movies that entertain me for long periods of time. Like this movie is I could almost agree that it's a little bit too long, but at the same time, like Joe, I can't imagine what the fuck he cut out of it. Like I think it's all just kind of yeah. Let's see. Michael Caine is my first note on here is Michael Caine is the most British thing to ever exist. Because he is. if you close your eyes and
What?
imagine a British man, I bet it's Michael Caine.
Fact.
Yeah, I mean that's shit.
I-
Right now, for sure.
Kind of wild that this. Kind of wild that the whole back half is all about how Olivier's character is just racist, and Caine doesn't like that.
Yeah.
You were a racist. Can you believe that my Italian heritage was able to pull one over on you, white man?
Yeah.
Dude,
Charmingly
the Cole,
racist.
I love
the
that
Cole
shit.
scene was pretty fucking hard. Pretty hard.
That was
Too
cool.
real for you?
God.
Just getting up in there, getting dirty and shit.
I didn't buy for a second that Michael Caine was dead. However, I thought that Michael Caine was like an actual cop at the beginning. Like I thought that he was in.
Yes.
Like I
Yes.
totally thought he was an undercover cop at the beginning of the movie. I guess towards like
Same.
the where he gets like quote unquote shot. By that point, I was like, I'm not so sure he's a cop anymore. But
Oh,
for a
God.
large portion of
Mine
that
was like
chunk,
after he got in the house.
I was like, he's in just trying to get this dude to confess. Like, it was totally what I expected.
Oh, and the thing is, like, I've just recently muted notifications on the spoiler chat in our Discord because I saw Joe's question
Yeah,
pop
same.
before watching the movie, and so that's what kind of also made me believe that Milo was impersonating impersonating a criminal.
Yeah, I thought you would have watched it.
as an investigator. No, it's nobody's fault but my own. Like I easily could have watched this movie way sooner, and I can also just try to take notice when I'm looking at the spoiler
the spoilers
channel
for-
in Discord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought maybe you.
But anyway, I was just mentioning how it was also in my mind that Milo was a cop faking as a criminal at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
just because I didn't have the full picture of the double fucking identity thing. Anyway,
I mean, overall, I pretty much bought in almost the entire time. Again, I think if anywhere, all things considered, I guess it kind of felt like it dragged a little bit at the end, but that didn't really bother me at all. I was having fun almost the entire time. Olivier is incredible. Caine's incredible. Caine is such a young boy in this movie. He just looks like a baby. I'm so used to seeing fucking Alfred, Michael Caine. So used to seeing Nolan, Michael Caine. To add, I do really like how well Caine is able to play him through almost the entire movie. Like it almost feels like Caine has an upper hand. Even in the beginning when he's like having him put on the clown outfit and shit, it feels like Caine is in on the joke and knows what's going on and is just like riding along, trying to get this dude to give up more information. He's just playing him from the start. But yeah, what do we got left? We got Will.
It's me. Yeah, dude, this movie is fucking great. Obviously you guys have touched on pretty much everything with set dressing, unbelievable, dialogue and writing, impeccable. Honestly, I kind of just want to like do a couple of my favorite quotes, because you guys pretty much covered everything else. And like I said before, most of my notes are just, wait, what? Holy shit, wait, what? I did really love that final transition, especially from like back out to the diorama. Kind of like Joe was saying. I just want to touch on that again because goddamn, that was so well done. It looked really well done. It almost looked like it had been like CGI done, but like obviously they didn't have that shit back then, so it just was fucking well done. Or at least not in the kind of way, you know, where they could really make it. Yeah. I did also want to touch on how the movie like plays with our expectations, right? And obviously we've talked about that a lot, but I really love it when movies do that and like pull it off. And I did feel like they pulled that off at least a couple times this movie. For sure, like the first time when you think Michael Caine is dead, right? Like dude blows him away and then like that's the end of that scene pretty much. And you're like, all right, well he's fucking dead. Like why the fuck did they kill Michael Caine halfway through my fucking movie? What the fuck? And then the other time was when the cops don't show up when Michael Caine says they will, and you're just like, oh, okay, so like he's just gonna be able to get away with actually fucking murdering him now, like he plans to do, and then he does, and then two fucking cops show up, and you're like, ha, got you, motherfucker, thank fuck, because I didn't want Lawrence Olivier to get away with that shit. Racist piece of shit.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Yeah, wait a minute. I guess Lawrence Olivier is not the racist. Wyke. And I also kind of want to talk about like kind of like the themes for the movie. I don't think there was a lot going on as far as themes with this movie, but I do think one of the main ones was just kind of like that you shouldn't fuck with people because they might fuck back, and then it's not going to be in the way that you hope for.
Yeah,
right?
that's the moral. But there is a theme of like gentry versus common, upper class, lower class, noble minds versus ignoble minds.
Yes.
There's definitely
Very
trails
true.
of racism throughout the movie, for sure.
Yes.
Pretty heavy-handed about it.
Yes. And I think the racism is tied into the kind of gentry versus
exactly.
Non.
Yeah.
And I thought they did all that stuff really well. But now on to the quotes, boys. I really liked it's a good thing I am an Olympic sexual athlete. Yes, I suppose these days you're concentrating more on the sprints than on the long distance stuff. It's so fucking good. Jesus Christ, that's good.
Comes back with a callback to it at the end.
And call back at the end too. Yeah, like holy shit, the writing there, like that's gold. And then the other one that I really fucking loved was a turnstile to the bedrooms. One way or another, one always pays to get in. Damn, that's true. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I had. I really like this movie. It was great.
Awesome.
There's a couple things I've got coming to my mind at the end here. It's wild to me how Milo leaves Wyke alone. Like in the common knowledge that he's pulled a gun on him before, he just leaves him upstairs at the end of the movie just to be like, leave him long enough just to get another gun. I don't know why that's bugging me now, but
like when he gets
when he goes up to get the coat, yes, that's
I thought
yeah.
he switched the bullets out for blanks.
and that came to mind
I had
too.
that thought, too.
But it's just like at the end when you figure out they're not blanks. Yeah,
He had called the police preemptively at that exact moment so that they
that's
show up.
what I'm not remembering. Also the blank jigsaw puzzle. I'm trying to piece together the blank jigsaw puzzle without it saying just some message that doesn't exactly make sense. Like it doesn't matter how many
You mean the crossword on the
No. There's a pure white blank jigsaw puzzle that's not, it's only fully assembled towards the end of the movie, but is it's trying to say no matter how many pieces you put together, you don't get the full picture till the end. Like
He did have it assembled when it skips forward in time after the mock execution. You see it
that's the
fully
scene
put
I'm
together
thinking of. Yeah,
in
yeah,
order
that's-
to establish that time has passed and things have
Okay.
been put back in their place.
Okay, it's a time lapse
Okay, that
piece.
was a
Yeah.
time
All right.
device. Okay.
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you for that.
I didn't even notice that, but that's amazing that you. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Those were my last minute thoughts.
I want to ask you guys about the twist. Now, you guys have hinted at that. You all guessed it. I mean, but I think when we watch movies, we just make guesses, but we're not 100. You can never be 100% sure which direction it's going to go. So you make these guesses, and then when you happen to be right, you're like, "See, I called it." The first time I watched it, I thought I didn't quite guess it until a few minutes before, and I've watched this movie with other people, and they usually don't guess it until a few minutes before, and if they do in their head, that's just something you think. I don't know, what do you guys think about the twist?
I feel like it's pulled off really well. It's just the fact that I have so much of an attention to detail to actors that as soon as I see I recognize that it's Michael Caine, and if for just a moment it's over. But I feel like it's still pulled off really well for its time.
Did you guys see that it credits him as Alec Cawthorne in the beginning?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say, is that I didn't see it coming at all, and then once I realized it was Michael Caine, I still didn't think it was I still didn't think it was
Right.
Milo. I thought it was just him playing a different actor, and then when I went and looked on like the cast listing, I was like, it is him just playing like as another actor. So okay. I kind of like untwisted my or retwisted myself kind of.
Well, I think the problem with watching anything that isn't, relatively contemporary is that we, if I'm not necessarily watching a film looking for the twist, quote unquote, or looking for whatever, and when this film was made, and especially when the work that it was written and based on was made, uh, it, you're not going to be viewing it in the same way. Like, I think it was incredibly effective and well executed, and would have been pretty much. I mean, there wouldn't be really another way to do it then, and have it be any more effective than it
It's
was.
it's extremely difficult to pull off that twist. I mean, to have him be another person using a different voice, yeah.
It was a lot, and they did it very well. And like I said, they weren't expecting us to be watching this in 1080 on an LED TV.
Right.
This would have been seen on a CRT, and things would have just looked different. So it's like I said, and we would have felt different. We haven't seen 80 films with a twist. Even what I find interesting is that even in this film, they kept referring to the tropes of a murder mystery. Like
Yeah.
saying that.
Right.
They'd be like, "Oh, let me guess.
Garroted,
We're
yeah.
gonna find the body." Yeah, exactly. So it was like, for them to even pull it off at that time was a thing. So we've seen too many movies in 2024 to look at that with honest eyes and
That
say,
could be the
"Did it work
case.
on us?"
Yeah, I feel like we're
You know?
spoiled by our advancements. I get what you're saying.
It's hard for me to look at anything without seeing how the sausage was made, in a sense. If a film could pull me out of that entirely, and I completely forget that I'm watching a film like Parasite did, that's just the most recent example, then I'm like, oh my, that to me is like what still gets me up every day to go and try to, make films.
One of the things that's really interesting about the Alec Cawthorne credit is that it's listed on Wikipedia and IMDb that Alec Cawthorne is in the cast, which is
They must have printed it in the same, like official billing, different salary type of thing. They both just went to Michael Caine.
that would be interesting if they actually did that. But I just think
What's the only way to get it printed? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they could just do it because it's fun to preserve the mystery. I don't know. Do you think so?
I think that in an official record like IMDb, it would have to at least have some sort of asterisk or something like Michael Caine
Well,
as.
no, it doesn't. It just says in the cast Alec Cawthorne.
That's what I mean. That means that he was literally billed as someone else for that part so that they could have it printed and that the secret wouldn't get out that he was playing two characters. You know what I mean? Like you could legally pay Michael Caine as Alan Smithy or whoever you want.
Oh, okay.
As long as it's going through the the proper channels and taxes, etc. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm assuming that there would have been a way for people to get the information on casting, and if they're leaking that there's only 2 male stars in the film, they would, people would have put that together immediately. So I think having that third person in there was a way for them to keep that alive without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of kind of boring behind the scenes stuff, this movie, the rights, as I said, are owned by Bristol Myers Squibb. They bought a bunch of movies. The most famous are this one and the Heartbreak Kid. So there's no way to own the DVD unless you buy it from one of these janky companies that are outside the US that have the worst production.
Companies, quote.
Yeah. Well, they have the worst production logos. Like if you look at the ones I sent, like Electric Productions, the first one I bought, like the paper is actual computer paper and it's just printed, like it would be printed.
Well, yeah.
But most of them have like a
What if-
special quality, like a real DVD.
Like a real bootleg.
And it's a sticker on the DVD, and then there's like 3 production logos that have no online presence. I tried Googling all of these, and they don't have any online presence. But
Are you telling me the company that bootlegged and printed in their home copies of 1972 Sleuth didn't make it?
I don't think it's bootleg because it's just in a different country. Like I did find the second one I bought because I bought 2 just to see if it would be any better.
Well, if there's no DVD release from an official distributor, meaning
They must have the rights to do it just outside of the US.
Right. It's not that it's not
Potentially,
official.
yeah.
It's just that it's so small and fucking unknown that it's.
The second one, yeah. The second one, Umbrella Entertainment, they're from Australia. But the really weird part of this is that both Sleuth and Heartbreak Kid were made in 1972, and both were remade in 2007. The Farley, is it the Farley brothers who made like Dumb and Dumber? They remade the Heartbreak Kid.
Fairly.
Yeah. They remade that movie in 2007, and both suck.
With Ben Stiller.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
The first Heartbreak Kid had badass cover art. He's on there with like that pink.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And it's also has no distribution. Like it's super hard to find. It's not on any streaming services.
Yeah, I have a VHS copy. And that is about it.
Let's get into ratings unless you guys have anything else to say.
No, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. I didn't mention this, but there's 3 songs by Cole Porter. The last one, Anything Goes, is like a big part of the riddle. He keeps referencing the lyrics. And I love that because I love that song. Anything Goes is the first like diss track. He's just making fun of everyone who's in the news in the 20s. Love the twist. Love the murder mystery vibes. Murder mysteries do it for me. This is the best one in my opinion. And Death Trap is a close second, but I think Sleuth is better. What do you think, Knack?
Oh, did you?
I give it 10 out of 10. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. I was waiting for them digits. I don't have a lot to fault this movie for. Shit, I'm having a tough time just kind of deducting points for much of anything, but
It's too long, or
no, you
saw it coming.
I feel like those aren't valid reasons to deduct it, even if I felt that way. Shoot. I'm coming down on a 9 out of 10, I guess. Going along with how, like Jeff mentioned, the second half is a little bit harder to trudge through than the first half, but that's all I'm really knocking it for. I loved it. I loved a lot about this movie. Yeah, 9 out of 10.
Well, I guess that the way that Knack put it, now I'm going to sound like a giant asshole because it's like I do think if I'm looking at this, if I'm looking at this objectively, just from a writing perspective, because I'm not familiar with the play, and I don't know if we're rating this on how close they kept it to the play.
Seen the play.
Based just on yeah, based on just on the film alone, assuming there is no play, and I'm not rating them on how closely they adapted it, etc. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the dry wit for very long. I can handle about 20 minutes of it, and then it just becomes a little much for me. So, at like the hour and a half mark, when my brain is used to sort of getting to the end of a story, uh, we were kind of in the middle, and so I think for me, while I recognize that it was shot well and the acting was well, or the direction was great, they let the actors go on, and both of them committed and did well. Uh, yeah, it was just a bit long for me, and I just feel like a twist, quote unquote, only works when I can take the lines that come before it seriously. And yeah, I just reached a certain point where every piece of information that was given to me, I was like, well, is this really the thing, or is this like another fucking riddle? You know what I mean? So it was like I can't appreciate a hard like unless I really was believing what came before it. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna give this a solid 7 out of 10. And yeah, it was very enjoyable, but not something I want to dig into again, soon. I need a break from it. But yes,
Indeed.
It's fair.
7 out
Yeah.
of 10.
I think Jeff.
Jeff, what do you
Yeah,
think?
it's a solid 9 out of 10 for me. I like a movie that I feel like I could watch this movie more than once and pick things up and find other things to enjoy about it. And I think rewatchability goes a long way with me, especially with this guy. I don't think it was perfect, but I can't imagine things that really stood out that I didn't enjoy about it. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for sure.
Will.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm right there with you guys. Around the nines. I think this movie was really good. I don't have a lot of complaints besides that long run time, which I am willing to deduct points for. So actually, 6 out of 10. John, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Whoa. No, I'm gonna go like. Let's go 8.75 out of 10. Because I don't think
Crazy
it
for
I
that?
don't think it hits that 9 for me, but I feel like on another rewatch it might hit that 9 for me because
It's
I really
respectable.
I like this movie a lot, and I agree with Jeff that like on another rewatch I'll probably pick more stuff up and appreciate that
Oh
too.
yeah, I've enjoyed it on rewatches. If you
It's
didn't like
good.
it, next time take some Bufferin or some Excedrin when you watch it.
A fat line of Excedrin.
Oh
Makes
fuck yeah!
Get the
anything.
full Bristol Myers Squibb experience.
Hooking it into
Bristol
my
Myers
veins.
Squibb.
There's a good old Mary Dick for you.
You mean Lord St. John Marydew?
Dude, that when he calls him Mary Dick or whatever, fucking hilarious. I
Also,
straight up like burst out laughing at that.
who here is eating caviar?
No, yeah, I've still got the
Shit.
movie rolling in the background, and Lawrence Olivier has an
Bro.
entire can of caviar on that
amount.
one pita cracker, dude. I swear to
The
God,
amount
he ate a whole can of caviar in one bite.
That's a staggering amount of caviar.
One of the reasons I love this movie is that if I had the money, I would live exactly like Andrew Wyke. It's just a matter of money. I would live exactly like him.
Dude, for real.
I guess it's like
Same.
diamonds are cool, but I don't want a mouthful of diamonds.
Oh, I got one more question for you. Is anyone in this movie still alive? Anyone who we see in the movie?
Wait, is Michael Caine dead?
still
I
alive?
was
Isn't
just
he?
gonna
Michael
say,
Caine's
what?
still alive.
Okay.
Oh, Christ.
Fucking scare me like that,
There's
bro.
one other person. There's
fuck,
one other
dude?
person who we see, who's not an actor or an actress in the movie, but we see them.
We see a
Oh.
photograph.
Yeah, not counting the photographs. There's a photograph of Agatha Christie that gets replaced over the bullet hole, but she's dead.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, the photograph of Marguerite is based on Paul Newman's wife, Joanne Woodward, who is still alive at 94.
Jesus.
Fun fact. Anyway, what do you got for the next movie? Damn.
So we are gonna move in a different direction. We are going in the Dutch arena. We're still in the European territories here, but this one's a little bit lighter, and by lighter I mean not light. this is a film called The Vanishing, and I really want to pronounce his last name right. I don't know. It's George Sluizer, I believe, or Sluizer. I don't know if that's a hard R, but yeah, this movie is just been a personal gem of mine for a long time for more reasons than just I love it. It's something I use as an example when I talk about films with my friends and people that I love. Uh, and it's something that I want you guys to experience. So,
The 1988
Criterion,
film.
yes, 1988, the year I was born. Uh, the Lord gave us The Vanishing, Lord Suliezer, George. Uh, and my God, yeah, it's just really great. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. I can't wait to hear about it.